They saved my life without ever knowing it. And years later, the entire town saved theirs. They say karma comes quietly, but when it arrives, you feel it like a warm hand pulling you out of the dark. For me, it happened in the most unexpected place, inside a tiny donut shop at the corner of my street. Back then, I was 23 and falling apart. I woke up each day feeling like I was dragging a mountain on my chest. I had no purpose, no light, nothing that made me want to keep going. But somehow, every morning, I still forced myself out the door, mostly because I didn't know what else to do. That's how I found myself walking into the same donut shop at the same time every single morning. And that's when I met them, the couple who ran the place. They weren't related to me, didn't know my story, weren't obligated to care. But somehow, they did. Every morning, the husband greeted me with a cheerful, "Good to see you." And his wife always added, "How are you feeling today?" The kind of question that sounds simple, but hits different when you haven't heard genuine concern in months. Some days they'd slip me an extra donut or tuck a small bag of pastries into my hands with a quiet, "Take this with you, all right?" They never pried, they never judged the sadness I carried on my face. All they did was treat me like I mattered. And slowly, it worked. Their kindness became the tiny reason I kept getting out of bed. Their smiles were the first thing that made me feel alive again. When they said, "See you tomorrow," it wasn't just a phrase. It felt like a promise that tomorrow was worth reaching. But one morning, something was wrong. His smile wasn't there, the shop felt colder, and his wife, who had greeted me every day for months, was nowhere to be seen. I didn't want to ask, I didn't want to intrude, but worry sat heavy in the air. A few days later, the truth spread through our town like a storm. His wife had collapsed from a sudden brain aneurysm and had been rushed to the hospital. Nobody knew if she would make it. People were heartbroken. Everyone knew them. Everyone had tasted their kindness. Some tried to raise money, but the husband refused. He kept saying, "We'll manage." Then he went right back to working before sunrise and closing long after dark, trying to keep the shop alive while spending every spare minute at the hospital. He wouldn't accept help, so the town decided to help in a different way. The next morning, before the sky even began to brighten, something unbelievable happened. Hundreds of people, neighbors, workers, students, parents, strangers, lined up silently outside the shop. The line wrapped around the block. When the store opened, people bought donuts by the dozen, by the box, by the tray. They cleaned out the shop within minutes every single day. This went on for weeks, not because anyone needed that many pastries, but because they knew he needed time more than money. Time to sit beside the woman who had lifted so many spirits, including mine. And then, one morning, she walked back into the shop, smiling, fully recovered. The whole place erupted in applause. And for the first time, I realized the truth. Their kindness saved me, and in the end, all of us saved them right back.